Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, hope you're well. We're picking up today with episode 14, I think it's 14, with Bromsgrove Sporting on FM21. Last time out we had that hard-fought draw against Blyth Spartans, which was an improvement because we'd been in a bit of a rut form-wise. I've not moved on as much as planned. We've only played a couple of games since then. I've been messing around a lot with the tactics, looking at potential new signings. So there's a lot to go through today, which we'll get into just now. Right, so guys, here we go. This was the game I was talking about against Blyth. You might remember we went ahead after 31 minutes. Cowley getting on the score sheet, which is what we've struggled with that this season, or in the last few games anyway. No, I'll stick to my original statement. This season, Cowley's not been in good goal scoring form, and we'd been on a tough run. That goal went in after half an hour, and I thought, right, we could be turning the corner here, and we held on and we played okay. It wasn't brilliant, but we were all right. I think we were good value for the lead, and then of course we gave away that penalty, and that's how it stayed. Which, to be fair, the way we've been going when we gave that penalty away, I thought we might be in for a bit of a late sort of heartbreak and another loss. But it's we got the draw, and as you can see, we followed it up with a couple of wins. We've managed to shut the back door at least. No goals going in. Now, I was trying to think, I was trying to analyse, I was trying to think, why is that started to happen, other than just the obvious of we've just come up, we're punching above our weight, etc. And I started to feel a little bit better about things, because I mean, one of those 4 games was against Newport County, who, they're second in League 2. So we're always going to struggle to compete there, and we got to the FA Cup second round, guys, which is it's a great run for a team at our level. So have to be really pleased with that. I think the concern was that the 3 league games, not scoring, not even scoring, and they were poor performances. Now, starting off, I mean, what we have to remember is, I know I've mentioned that we've obviously just come up, but when I actually checked the comparison with the rest of the league, now this isn't completely accurate because I've made a few signings which I'm going to show you now, but goalkeepers was right down there. Defence was still struggling badly on. I mean, it gets a little bit better if you just look at defenders. We're at least quick at the back, which is a nice change, which did influence some of the tactical change, but really struggling there. Midfield, again, below average for everything, bottom in a couple of areas or close to, so struggling there. I mean, this is across the board. I think a couple of our players, obviously, that are better than this, but it's dragged down by the squad. And then, surprisingly, even attack, we're not. We've got a couple of areas good in the air, good off the ball, good movement and good acceleration, which we know, but there's a lot of stuff down here which we're struggling with. Physically, again, you can see the sort of quickness and the pace is there, but otherwise, I think we're just getting bullied. Same with the mental stuff. We knew we had the flair, but again, all these mentals, the bravery, the anticipation, the positioning, it's all over the place. Again, with the technicals, there's a couple of areas that were okay, and I mean, even this though is just bang average. Now, we're a promoted club, we're not going to necessarily be up here for all the categories, but I thought we'd made some good signings, and I think there definitely were improvements to what we had, but you can still see that it's still miles off the average standard of the league. So the fact that we are up here, wrong tab, the fact that we're up in 8th looking at playoff areas is a massive overachievement. The board are right. We should be fighting against this stuff, which we're well clear of at the moment, touch wood. So you have to temper expectations a little bit. We had a great FA Cup run. We've been doing well in the league. We've had a bit of a run, and I think it did need changing because it had gone stale. The performances were quite poor. So that is what we have done. Now it's quite different. This is the original. I've kept this around because I still think that there's maybe something to be said. It might be that we can tweak this if we need to go for it. If we need to change our shape, we can use this and tweak it. But I've gone for a different shape. I've ditched the right side because I just couldn't get a tune out of anyone. We'll of course bring it back because we've got De Silva, we've got Prata. There's a few players that we can play out there. So this is why I want to keep this sort of shape before. But for now, I was looking at the players that I was getting a little bit more from. Back four stayed the same. I was pretty happy with individual performances there, and I've just tried to pack the midfield a little bit. You can see the extra protection out here. I've put late into the right hand channel, so he does drift out here, and it's worked pretty well. It's not quite as not gung ho. The last one wasn't, but it's not bombing balls forward all the time and constantly going. But it's a lot more controlled. It's a lot more solid, as you can see, or it has been so far in the 2 games. So it could all go wrong. On to those games. Alfreton, we needed a win here because they were sat in 21st, so we did need a win, and it was pretty comfortable. You can see the ratings across the team were reasonable, approaching 7s or above 7s. Cowley got us off to a start which was pleasing. We were better in the first half as well, and then Eswele made doubly sure. A couple of little moments that Alfreton had, but we deserved the 2-0 win. It was a good result. Then we had the FA Trophy. The draw came in not long before, to be fair, and we got St Ives, which I thought was a good draw. I think we played them last season, didn't we? I think we've just come out of that league, but it was tough. It was a difficult one, but again, we didn't look like conceding too often, so it was just a case of grinding away and getting the goal. So the tactics worked for those 2 games. I mean, we've got a team down at the bottom and a team in the division below, so maybe it's just because of the sort of quality of opposition hasn't been great, but in the performances it's definitely been a little bit more solid, which is what we wanted, because we were just conceding without reply, weren't we? We were just giving the ball away all the time, inviting pressure. Pressure this time seems to be a little bit more sustainable. We don't look quite as stretched and quite as worried. So we'll crack on with this for now. We've got Kings Lynn today, who are sat in 4th and are a good side. I think they were favourites before the season started, so I wouldn't be surprised to see what I've just said all come falling apart. But what we've got is at least, they're sort of them and Gateshead are quite clear favourites, and to be fair, we beat one of them, so maybe we will again. And this all might come crashing down around me, and we might be back to the drawing board. But I think it's given us a viable foundation for another way that we can go. Now, just in the last few days before this game, we had an injury, not a serious one, but an injury to our goalkeeper, Stricovic. I mean, he can actually play now. He's been out for less time than was predicted, but I thought, great, I don't have a senior backup. But as it happened, I was already looking at one. I don't know where I'm going here, guys, sorry. I was already looking at one, and we brought that forward in Oscar Kelly, who I think, to be fair, is a pretty big upgrade on Stricovic anyway, at least at the moment. So I know we're already over budget. I've had to spend a little bit more. I'm trying to shift some players out. Haswell still hasn't gone, but he will be. But it's a struggle because the players that we've got that are perhaps ones that we would get rid of are on non-contracts. We're not paying them anything, so there's no real negative to keeping them around for sort of squad size, because it's not huge anyway. But we'll deal with that afterwards. We needed to strengthen. So not only have we brought Kelly in, I'm all over the place. Ridiculous. Sorry, get yourself together, Rob. We brought in Ethan Kachosa, young Zimbabwean. He was at Leeds. We've obviously snapped him up after he's been released. And I think, although we've already got right-hand-sided players and we're not currently playing with someone on the right-hand side, I never really was getting the best out of him on a consistent basis, and I think this guy was just someone that was worth bringing in. Not a huge amount of money. The other two, I think Prata and De Silva, or at least one of them, is on a non-contract, so I thought this was worth a go. Nice and quick, nice and athletic, very determined, good off the ball, all of that sort of stuff. He's lacking in a couple of areas of crossing, etc., but a lot of the wingers at this level seem to be, if they've got pace, they don't have this as well, otherwise they'd probably be up at a high level. But I thought this kid was worth a punt, and it may well buy into a way that we can get another wide man on the right hand side back into the tactic, or if we need to go for it a little bit more, if we need to play a bit wider, he's an option. And I just thought he was maybe a little bit too not too good to turn down. Look at the stats, but he was someone that was worth a punt on, to see if we can get a tune out of him. And as you can see, there are a couple more that we're looking to bring in, but we won't go through them until we get them, if we get them. Right, so this is the same team that that beat St Ives. I'm sticking with it. I think the only change we probably need to make is, no point having him, well, I'll keep him on the bench, but we're back to 5 subs, which is annoying. But we're going to go with this. I like to have Sparks on the bench because he can play absolutely anywhere. So Oscar Kelly's first game for the club, which isn't ideal, having your keeper just thrown in against one of the teams up at the top. But let's see how we do. I'm going to go and attack and try and play on the front foot, even though we're away against a team right up there. But they're better than us anyway, so I figure we may as well go for it. Try and get on the score sheet. I don't think we're particularly good when we just sit back, so I do want to press. And who knows? We managed to beat Gateshead, so fingers crossed. Here we go then, guys. I think this is going to be the first real test of this tactic to see if it works. I mean, I suppose if we get battered, it's not to say it doesn't work at all, but it might just be one to sort of grind out results against the teams that are lower or in and around that position. But I'm speculating. Let's see how this goes. It might have been that we just needed a bit of a freshen up. Obviously, the tactic we were using, we'd used all last season, and then it served us well for the first part of this season until the wheels came off just a little bit. Nothing's really happened for the first 15 minutes, which, to be honest, isn't necessarily a bad thing. I mean, they've battered us possession-wise, which is a bit of a concern. I don't mind surrendering the lion's share, but 75-25 is a bit much. But that's a big long kick from Kelly. Cowley holds it up well enough, and Callaghan brings in late, switches to Callaghan back on the left. It's a terrible shot, isn't it? He's looked a little bit better, Will Callaghan. He's got forward more, got into the box more, looked a bit more positive, but his finishing, his final product's been really poor. It's just usually straight at the keeper, or like you've just seen there, a little bit wild, but baby steps. That's well cleared by Eswele, but they come right back forward. He's got to be offside. I don't think he was. Kelly's come and claimed it anyway. He's looked to kick it long. We've surrendered possession again, and we're just inviting pressure here, guys. Now, that's really annoying because, I mean, Ward's got the ball there, hasn't he? He's literally stepped in and passed it into his path. What on earth has happened? This is a good ball, but I thought Ward had covered this. He has covered it. He's got the ball, and he's literally just let it run. Either run through him, or he's miscontrolled it, or something. Dear me. Right, well, we need to just slow it down because we're playing into their hands at the minute. Ball is still not well. I don't expect to dominate here, but mistakes like that are just stupid. It should have been dealt with, that. I think we just need to slow it down, stay in the game, not let them dominate quite as easily as they have been. I mean, that's the only highlight so far. So I know I've got it set to long throws, but that's not a case of not reaching, is it? There's no player anywhere. Why even throw it there? I mean, everything we're doing is falling to them in a minute. That's a straight ball across the top, and he should have scored. Kelly's done well to stand up, but he should have scored, and we're just getting battered at the minute. Been far too passive. That ball over the top seems to be a bit of a danger to, I think it's Marriott, so we need more from the lads. I know they're a better side, but I'm just going to drop it back just a one. In fact, if we're going to try and go a little bit shorter, let's close it all in just a bit, be a bit more compact. I don't want to change rafts of changes just yet at half time, but this guy's causing us problems getting in behind, so I think let's make sure that he is marked, and on we go, and let's see how the first 10 minutes of this half go, see if we can See if we can get ourselves back in or look a little bit better. Here's Eswele. He's got the sort of freedom of the right hand side, runs into a challenge, and that's the opening half highlight. Nice and pointless. That's gone a little bit wayward, and Cowley picks up the loose ball. Mulder's forward. Callaghan here. Needs some support. Has to go back, but that's okay. Here's Shorrock into late. Has a go! I'd have preferred to carry on building the move, but it wasn't a bad effort, was it? He certainly struck it well. You get the feeling this might need something like that, because the game is absolutely rubbish. We've not had a shot on target yet. The possession's slightly better, but we've not done anything just yet. Here's Cowley's come deep from that free kick, and he's turned really well, and there's rafts of support with him. Come on, Jace, find the way. Callaghan into the box, pass it into Mulder. Surely he's missed the target. Oh man, I mean, that's the opportunity. That counter attack was brilliant hold up play, and the guys bombed forward. But that's, I mean, Mulder's, I expect better there. He's meant to be our sort of, you know, man on the ball. It's been better though, guys, I think. But I do fear every time this sort of position happens and they get the ball here. That's well cut out by Hughes though, and Callaghan's picked it up and he's got options. Late lays it off first time for Cowley. He needs a little bit of help, and oh my god. No composure at all at the minute. I don't know if it's confidence or what, but that's a couple of decent... Not that Cowley's was a chance, but he shouldn't have... He's shooting from nowhere when there's players around. Right, I think it's time for a change. We do need to get forward. We'll sacrifice Welch, I think. Let's bring the new lad on. In fact, we may as well do that. I think Callaghan can drop back a little bit. Cachosa, I just want up the pitch, using his pace. And let's revert to type. Let's see if this old one can bail us out a little bit, guys. We're going to be a little bit more attacking with it. As well as throws good into Cachosa. Ward into late, bit of space here. Shifted it well. Crosses in. No one attacking it. It's a great ball in. It's a great ball in from Eswele, and their attack thankfully peters out into nothing. We're going to have to go for it a little bit. I mean, I'd have took a draw here, I guess, before the game started. So 7 shots, nothing on target though, and that's been the problem. We've got into some promising areas, and we've just not tested the keeper. Here we go, 2-0 then. No, pessimistic. Ward gets it away. It's going to come back though. That's a great ball into Marriott, and he's offside, which is fortunate because it looked like a good strike. That's going to be close. Oh, I think we've got away with one there. He's just off, but a little bit disappointed with the keeper as well, to be honest, being at his near post. Right, time to go for it a little bit, guys. I think. I think we just need to get things forward. Play as wide as possible. I think we need to really try and press into this area, not let them have the ball. And let's cross our fingers, see if we can find a little bit of last season or the start of the season, whatever's form, and steal something. I say steal something. We've been involved, haven't we? I mean, I'm not going to say the performance has been good, but we've had enough sort of promising attacks that that we've really just been poor as a final decision. A final decision or a final final ball, final shot, whatever. And it's been absolutely rubbish. And I suppose you could say that about some of the games in the run previously as well, where we've lost games. It's just we still have had chances, and we've not surrendered a lot of chances. This is just going to peter out now without any sort of... A bit late for me to do anything now, I suppose. But here's Rashid. Can he pop something forward? Hope for a mistake. I mean, we can keep hammering the ball into that area all day long. But here's Cowley out to Rashid. Can he get a cross in? No, and there it is. Very disappointing, guys. I think in lots of ways, anticlimax, isn't it? We've had at least a couple of games, and look, maybe I'm being too down. Maybe this is just a case of we're playing against a team right at the top. The difference in quality is quite significant. And look, we hung in there, didn't we? It was 1-0 from a mistake. They had some chances, but then so did we. Things looked better in a way because, as I mentioned, I think the new system is definitely more solid, definitely a little bit more controlled. But I think against a team that's that much better than us, they've obviously had the quality to dominate the ball, and it doesn't give us much of an opportunity to score goals. Having said that, although we didn't create lots of chances, we had one from Mulders that he should have, I mean, at least get it on target, and then probably 2, 3, 4 other opportunities where we're getting forward nicely, it's a good move, and Late or Cowley have taken a shot from some silly distance, and it's come to nothing. There's clearly still work to do, but if I can bring in those couple of signings that you might have just seen on the screen that before we went there, I think that'll help. We need to add to the quality. We probably need to ship a few signings that haven't quite worked out, that we've just not found a place for them in the system, haven't got the best out of them, and we'll just keep working. Right, guys. So not really what we wanted to see, both in result and in performance. It was a bit of a poor game. I was hoping that maybe we were going to see a bit of a bounce back, but we had a win against Alfreton. I mean, they're bottom for a reason, I suppose, but really we should be down here somewhere, and we're well clear of that. There's not a huge amount of points difference, but as long as we beat the teams, down here, as you saw, the difference in the players, in the quality of their sort of attributes is significant with most of the league. So the fact that we're in 9th, we're a win or two away from getting ourselves right into the playoffs is impressive, and I think we need to remember that despite this little bit of form here, this is pretty good. I mean, this is, you snap your hand off. We were never going to do that all season, I don't think. So this happening, let's see where we are again in sort of February, I think, before we start to have a real judgment. But so far, I'm a bit down on it because we had such success last season, and we've got a couple of good players, and that we're just not quite getting the best out of them. So it's all like, I'm all doom and gloom. But really, we're having a pretty good season. We are into the 3rd round of the FA Trophy. Haven't a Waterloo Villar Conference South, so equal level. I wonder how they're doing. Right, they're top. Okay, so it's a tough draw. It is a tough draw, but I think in terms of expectations, I think we've achieved everything and more so far. Just be competitive, all of them, which we've definitely done. The funds that we're bringing in have helped towards it. We're still in the red, but again, that would be sort of 3 or 4 times the amount if we hadn't had that FA Cup run. So it's getting there. There is some work to do before we can bounce back, but we can't expect to come and have that sort of form that we did at the start of the season, I don't think. Not until we can bring a lot more players in, which I'm trying to gradually do, but I can't just bring 11 signings in every few months when it's not quite working. The funds just aren't there to compete to do that. So we'll keep tweaking things, we'll keep going, and hopefully anyway, despite the result and a little bit of a damp squib of a game, hopefully you enjoyed the video and that you're enjoying the series. If you did, please drop a like, subscribe, notification bell, socials, all that good stuff. Leave us some comments, get in touch on socials with any ideas, anything you'd like to see. I think Scott alluded to in his last video that we've got a few ideas of some sort of other mini series and stuff that we'll do on the side when we find the time to get those set up. And if you didn't like it, please, I'm happy to hear criticism, as long as it's constructive. I'd love to know what we can do to make the channel better. So do get in touch, and otherwise we'll see you next time, guys. Thank you.